God says, "You are about to lose God's hand. 5 minutes left. Open this message before heaven erases your name. You will receive 9.21 billion into your bank account. Don't skip this message. This is not a joke. Stop scrolling. This is your moment. If you ignore this, you might miss the one thing heaven had scheduled just for you. Not tomorrow, not later, now. This message found you for a reason, and it's urgent. Before we begin, comment Amen if you are ready to receive what God has already written for you. You are about to lose God's hand. That's not a light warning. That means you've been holding on to something holy without even realizing how close you were to letting go. The countdown has begun, not just on a miracle, but on a divine lifeline. 5 minutes may not seem like much, but in the spiritual realm, it's enough time for heaven to shift the earth or for a soul to slip into silence. This is not about fear. This is about your rescue. God is speaking loud and clear, trying to stop you from falling out of alignment. This is why you need to hold on till the end. What you're about to hear will either open the door or leave it forever closed. When God says you are about to lose my hand, it doesn't mean He's punishing you. It means He's warning you. There's something dangerous around you, a temptation, a distraction, a deep fatigue in your spirit that's making you loosen your grip on the very thing keeping you alive. You're tired, you're confused, and you're worn from battles no one even sees, but God sees. He knows how close you are to letting go, and He's not going to let that happen without a fight. That's why this message found you. That's why heaven is shouting to you through this moment, because your name is not meant to be erased. Now, listen to me. God is not playing games with you. He has seen the tears you cried in secret, the late nights when you couldn't sleep, the mornings you didn't even want to get out of bed. You've been surrounded by voices that don't believe in what God placed in you. You've been living under ceilings too small for your calling. But God is about to break that ceiling wide open. Don't scroll past this. Don't dismiss it. Because the moment you do, the blessing may pass with it. You've come too far, cried too hard, sacrificed too much to miss what's about to fall from heaven into your life. Comment 1111 if you believe your divine alignment is happening now. The number 9.21 billion isn't just about money, it's symbolic. It represents overflow, restoration, a release of what was always yours but was delayed, stolen, or buried under years of pain. God is saying, you were never meant to live in lack. Financially, emotionally, spiritually, He wants to flood your life with more than enough. And for someone reading this, your account has been empty too long. Not just the bank account, but your joy account, your peace account, your strength account. But God is about to deposit something that changes your whole life. That's not a joke, that's a prophecy. The reason this warning is urgent is because distractions are multiplying in your life. You've been making space for what doesn't serve you, entertaining people who drain you, holding on to guilt that God already forgave. That's why you're slipping. Not because you don't love God, but because the noise has grown louder than His whisper. You keep asking where God is, but He's been standing beside you, trying to pull you back before you fall too far. That's love. That's mercy. That's why you're still breathing right now. If this message has reached you, it's because your name is still written, but the scroll is being read and decisions are being made in the unseen realm. Heaven is taking attendance. And there's a chance if you turn away now, your name won't be on that list when the gates open. This is not to scare you. This is to awaken you. Because when God gives a countdown, it's never without reason. You're being offered something eternal, something that no amount of wealth or fame can match. But your response matters. God will not force your hand. He waits for you to grab His. Please, like this video. if you know this word is confirming something God already whispered to your spirit. You've been asking for a sign, haven't you? You've been saying, God, just show me that you haven't left me. This is your sign. This is your moment. And not just any moment, a divine intersection. A moment where heaven comes to meet you exactly where you are. Tired, broken, doubting, but still chosen. Still favored, still in reach of God's hand. Even if yours has slipped, His never has. He still wants you. He still calls you His. He still believes in the future He wrote for you before you were born. The delay wasn't denial. The silence wasn't abandonment. God was preparing something. And now, it's here. You feel it, don't you? That stirring in your spirit, that pull in your heart. That's not coincidence. That's the Holy Spirit knocking. You've been wandering in deserts, but the rain is finally coming. What was dry will live again. What was dead will breathe again. What was lost will be restored sevenfold, but only if you stay. Only if you don't click away. Only if you finish what God started. Let this truth sink deep. You are not forsaken. You are not forgotten. Even in the mess, God's hand has never stopped reaching. But it's your choice now. 5 minutes is enough to change everything. 5 minutes can rescue a soul, restart a dream, reignite a calling. Don't use these 5 minutes scrolling past. Use them to step back into alignment with heaven. Don't miss this move. Don't let fear win. Don't let doubt steal what was prepared with your name on it. Comment 222 if you trust that God is pulling you back just in time. A neuroscientist says yes. A 9-word script, long buried in government files, can fire up a prehistoric brainwave that pulls money in faster. This breakthrough is already under legal pressure and could disappear any second. Click the link in the description and comments before it's deleted forever. You're not here by accident. You were meant to read this. You were meant to pause here. That's why the world feels louder lately. That's why the spiritual warfare has increased. Because you're close, closer than you think. And when you're close, the enemy gets desperate. He wants you to lose grip right at the finish line. He wants you tired, distracted, offended, isolated, because he knows you're one surrender away from victory. But God is not letting you fall without a fight. Heaven is alert, angels are dispatched, grace is still available, but you must choose it. This is your wake-up call. This is the door swinging open one last time. Will you walk through it? Will you answer the voice calling your name, or will you let the scroll roll on without you? You are not too late, but you are running out of time. Not because God is cruel, but because divine windows do not stay open forever. God honors obedience. He moves through faith. And right now, your faith is being tested not by how you shout, but by how you stay. The storm you're in isn't proof that God abandoned you. It's proof that He's preserving you. You didn't break. You didn't give in. You didn't walk away. And that means God still has something to finish through you. This is your reminder that even when you feel invisible, God still sees you. Even when you feel empty, God is still pouring. Even when you feel unworthy, His love still calls you righteous. That's the Spirit pressing on your soul, shaking you awake, urging you not to miss what's still possible. You need to know this. You have not failed beyond repair. You have not wandered too far. You are not disqualified. You are being pulled back because heaven still has you in its plan. God's hand is the only reason you survived some of the storms that should have destroyed you. Think about that. The car accident that didn't happen, the overdose that missed, the depression that didn't kill your spirit, the betrayal that didn't define you. That wasn't luck. That was God's hand. And now for Him to say, you're about to lose it, means you're drifting. Not by choice, maybe not even on purpose, but your spirit is slipping out of connection with the source. And if you keep living this way, numb, distracted, half present, you'll wake up to find yourself outside the covering you once had. God never moves away from you. He stays, He waits, He watches. But when your decisions start pulling you into environments He didn't place you in, His voice gets quieter, not because He's silent, but because the noise of sin is louder. That's where you've been lately, surrounded by noise, buried under the pressure, smiling in public but breaking in private. You've convinced everyone you're fine, but God sees your heart, and He's not here to judge you. He's here to pull you back, to heal what you stopped asking Him to touch, to rescue what you thought was already gone. Comment 333 to declare your faith is still alive, even if it feels small. Your blessing has always been written. God never changes His mind about what He wants to give you, but He will wait until your heart is ready to carry it. What good is 9.21 billion if your soul is still bleeding? What good is financial freedom if you're bound by bitterness? God is not just trying to fix your circumstances, He's trying to restore your foundation. Because He knows that when your soul is healed, your whole life shifts. That's what's coming, a deep restoration, a holy recalibration, and yes, overflow. Yes, sudden miracles. Yes, answered prayers. But it starts in your heart. This isn't about earning God's love. You already have it. Nothing can change that. But your decisions either open or close the doors that lead to His promises. And right now, you're standing in the hallway. Heaven has paused, waiting for your yes. A full yes. Not halfway. Not when I feel ready. Not after I fix myself. God wants your yes in the middle of the mess, in the middle of the pain. That's when His power works best, when your strength runs out and your surrender begins. That's when mountains move. You've been fighting battles you were never supposed to fight alone. That's why you're tired. That's why you feel empty. You were made to walk with God, not perform for Him. You were made to receive, not chase. And yet, you've been trying to earn what was always free. You've been chasing people who don't carry your healing. You've been putting your value in hands that can't hold your soul. But now, God is calling you back to the only place your heart will truly breathe, His presence. Don't think for a second that this is just about money. Yes, God provides. Yes, He can open up the floodgates of heaven and pour out abundance beyond what you can imagine. But what He wants to give you is deeper than money. Peace that silences anxiety, joy that laughs in the face of fear, identity that doesn't shake when people walk away, authority that crushes the plans of the enemy. This is what you've been missing. This is what you're about to lose if you keep drifting. And this is what God is offering back right now. Comment 555 if you know you're stepping into a season where what was stolen will be returned. God's voice is kind, but it's not weak. He's not begging for your attention. He's warning you with love, because the enemy isn't playing. He's trying to pull you into a numbness that feels comfortable but kills your purpose. You think you're just tired, but it's deeper than that. It's spiritual. The enemy knows he can't destroy you, so he distracts you, makes you busy, makes you cynical, makes you so focused on survival that you forget how to believe. But today, God is waking you up, because you're still chosen, you're still called, and heaven refuses to leave you behind. Could your brain be the reason you're still broke? Scientists just confirmed a 9-word sentence hidden deep in your subconscious may be blocking money from your life. But now, you can reverse it. Say these 9 words and wealth starts to follow you starting today. But the government might pull this secret any minute. Click the link in the description and comments before it's deleted forever. You need to hear this clearly. You are not running out of time. You are stepping into divine timing. But if you keep saying, "I'll do it tomorrow," you'll never see the blessing that was meant for today. Delayed obedience is still disobedience, and it's costing you peace. You know what God told you to let go of. You know the places you don't belong anymore. You know the voice you've been ignoring. This isn't new. God has been patient. But now the window is closing, not forever, but for this season. And what's inside this season cannot be found in the next. This is not punishment. This is protection. God is protecting you from cycles that keep repeating, from people who don't deserve access to your heart, from decisions that look good but lead to regret. That's why He's pulling you away. That's why you feel the tension. That's why nothing fits anymore, because you've outgrown the season you're still trying to stay in. God's hand is moving, and you must move with Him. You were created for more, not just to survive, but to thrive. Not just to make it, but to walk in power, to speak with authority, to love boldly, to forgive radically, and yes, to receive. To receive with joy what the enemy said you'd never have, to see restoration in your family, to see your health renewed, to see doors open without compromise. That's the season you're being called into. But you can't enter it if you stay numb, if you keep holding on to the past, if you keep excusing what God already asked you to release. This moment is holy. It's not just a message, it's a mirror. God is showing you who you are again, who you've always been. Underneath the fear, the pain, the failure, you are still His, still marked, still covered, still deeply, wildly, endlessly loved. And nothing, not even your worst days, can take that away. A decision must be made, and this isn't just about what happens next week or next year. This is about eternity, about your destiny. You've been marked since before you were born, and heaven has waited long enough. What you do with this moment will echo forever. You've been warned in love because you're still wanted. God's hand isn't light or soft, it's mighty. It's the hand that parted the Red Sea, the hand that lifted Peter out of drowning waters, the hand that wrote your name in the Lamb's Book of Life. But that same hand can lift if you walk away. That same hand can let go when you stop holding on. Not because God stops loving, but because God honors your freedom. He will not force your trust. He will not make you stay. That's why this message is crying out to you, because you are dangerously close to letting go of what's keeping you alive, and deep down you know it. You've been feeling off, restless, irritable, unfulfilled, even though you're doing all the right things. That's spiritual disconnection. That's your soul trying to scream louder than the distractions you keep feeding. You don't need more noise. You don't need more scrolling or validation or busyness. You need presence, God's presence, the kind that silences storms, the kind that melts pride, the kind that heals places therapy couldn't reach. That's what's been missing. That's why everything feels so fragile lately, because you're running on fumes and heaven is ready to refuel you. Comment 1212 if you know God is calling your spirit back home. There's no blessing without obedience. You want breakthrough, but are you willing to break free from habits that are killing your peace, from people who don't care about your purpose, from cycles that feel normal but are destroying your anointing? God doesn't ask you to let go to punish you. He asks so He can fill your hands with something better. But your hands are full of worry, full of pride, full of bitterness. And that's why the miracle keeps circling but not landing. Empty your hands and watch what God places in them. What's coming to you is bigger than what you've been praying for. You asked for help, but God is sending transformation. You asked for a little peace, but He's offering complete deliverance. But here's the truth. Transformation isn't comfortable. It stretches you. It exposes what's been hidden. It purifies what's been polluted. And that's what this season is about. Not a punishment, but a purification. You've been waiting on God, but God has been waiting on your full surrender. That's the key. That's what unlocks the floodgates. That's what brings heaven crashing into your reality. If you've been feeling like your life has been stuck on pause, it's because God didn't want you to move without Him. He let you sit still, not to punish you, but to prepare you. And now, He's saying it's time. Time to rise. Time to speak again. Time to believe again. You've let discouragement have too much space in your mind. You've let shame write chapters that God never approved. But no more. Not today. This is your comeback, and God is writing this one with fire. You are not the failure you think you are. You are not the disappointment you've been called. You are God's beloved. That means His power rests on you. His favor surrounds you. His angels fight for you. And the enemy? He's terrified of what you'll become if you ever fully step into who you really are. That's why the warfare has been intense. That's why the confusion has increased. Because the devil knows what you're about to access if you stay connected. And don't be deceived, this isn't just for someone else. This is for you. God doesn't speak in generalities. He speaks with precision. He knows your name, your address, your thoughts, your struggles, and He's still choosing you, still pursuing you, still reaching down to pull you out of the pit. He's not afraid of your mess. He's not overwhelmed by your past. He already died for all of it. The cross was the proof. The resurrection was the receipt. And now, all that's left is your yes. Comment 777 if you believe resurrection power is still alive and working in your life. Why did 19,583 people suddenly become financially free last month? They all discovered a strange sentence, just 9 words long, buried in neuroscience research, and once hidden by the FBI. Now they're paying off debt, traveling the world, and living in homes they never thought they could afford. If you're seeing this, you're lucky the page might disappear any moment. Click the link in the description and comments to know this secret before it's deleted forever. You've been planting seeds with tears, but the harvest is coming in joy. You've been faithful in silence. You've been generous in secret. You've worshipped through heartbreak, and none of it went unnoticed. Heaven was watching, and now the books are being opened. The scroll is being read. God is preparing to reward what no one else saw. The late-night cries, the selfless acts, the quiet obedience, the private sacrifices. He saw it all, and He is just. He will repay, not just in money, but in peace, in clarity, in restoration, and in generational blessings. But here's what you have to understand. Blessings are heavy. You have to be built to carry them. That's why the waiting hurts so much. God wasn't withholding. He was strengthening, training, protecting you from a weight you weren't ready for. But now, you're almost ready. The tables are turning. The page is flipping. And where you've been forgotten, you'll now be favored. Where you've been attacked, you'll now be anointed. But only if you don't walk away now. Only if you hold tight to the hand that's carried you this far. Don't be discouraged by how quiet it's been. Sometimes God speaks loudest in the stillness. Not because He's gone, but because He wants you to lean in. You've been begging for a shout, but God is speaking in a whisper. That's where intimacy begins. And intimacy is what unlocks the mysteries, the answers, the breakthroughs. You don't need more noise, you need nearness. And God is closer than you think. You are not who they said you were. You are not the mistakes you made. You are who God says you are, chosen, redeemed, sealed, protected. That truth doesn't change, no matter what the world throws at you. And today, you have a choice. Will you walk away, or will you walk into everything God is still holding out for you? That's who He is. Not a distant judge, but a father who runs toward his child at the first sign of return, and right now, He's running toward you, arms wide open. The only thing that could stop this divine reunion is your silence, your delay, your refusal to reach back. That's why this moment is so important. God says you're about to lose His hand, not because He wants to let you go, but because you've been walking farther and farther from His voice. And eventually, the noise of the world will get so loud, you won't hear Him at all. That's why heaven is shouting now. You are too important to be lost in the shadows, too anointed to settle for survival, too called to keep pretending you're fine. God sees the war in your soul, the fear that no one understands, the anxiety you can't explain. He sees it all, and still, He chooses you. The hand of God is what's kept your name written. The moments you should have been disqualified, but grace said otherwise. The nights you were done, but mercy carried you through. You think you've been forgotten, but the truth is, your name is still being whispered in heaven. God hasn't erased you, but the enemy wants to. He's been trying to convince you to disconnect, to give up, to fall silent. Because once you disconnect, you stop hearing. Once you stop hearing, you stop hoping. And once you stop hoping, you start dying inside. But God says no, not yet. Not like this. Comment 999 if you believe your name is still written in heaven and your story isn't over. You've made mistakes. Everyone has. But yours don't define you. What defines you is the voice you respond to. Will you respond to guilt, to shame, to fear, or will you respond to grace? Grace is calling now, not because you earned it, but because God already paid the price. The blood of Jesus didn't just cover you, it claimed you. You are not owned by your past. You are not held by your failures. You belong to a kingdom that cannot be shaken. But you must choose to stay in it. You must choose to keep holding the hand that saved you. The promise of 9.21 billion may sound wild, but understand what God is really saying. He's talking about supernatural provision. A breakthrough so big that it rewrites your story. A blessing so unexpected it silences every lie spoken against you. Financially, yes, but it's more than that. It's a sign, a divine shift, a reversal. You've spent years in lack, not just in money, but in joy, in love, in peace. God is saying, watch what I will do when you let go of control and trust me fully. This is not fantasy. This is faith in action. But listen closely, provision comes with preparation. If your heart isn't right, the blessing will crush you. God loves you too much to give you something you're not ready to carry. So don't just wait for the miracle. Let Him prepare you for it. Let Him shape your character, build your strength, teach your soul to praise even when it hurts. Because when the blessing arrives, you'll know how to keep it. You'll know how to steward it. And most importantly, you'll know who gave it to you. You've spent long enough begging for crumbs when a feast is being prepared for you. You've begged people to stay, begged doors to open, begged for peace in places that were never meant to hold it. That begging ends now. God is calling you to rise, to stop shrinking, to stop begging and start believing. He is your provider, He is your defender, He is your source. And if He said He would do it, He will. But you cannot miss this moment, because the window is closing, the hand is slipping, and God is asking, will you reach again? You may feel small right now, overlooked, misunderstood. But heaven does not overlook what man ignores. You are chosen, not randomly, not accidentally, but purposely. You were picked by name, formed in the womb by a God who knew every day you'd live before you took your first breath. He wrote your days, even the painful ones. And still his plan stands. Still, his calling remains. The pain didn't cancel it. The delay didn't delete it. You are still on the path, even if you feel lost. God's hand knows the way, even when your eyes can't see. Comment 1010 if you trust that even in the dark, God is guiding your every step. Could a 9-word ritual really be your key to financially freedom? What sounds like fiction is now being confirmed by science. Harvard researchers and FBI documents point to a hidden brain center that, when activated, draws in abundance naturally. This 9-word prayer has helped over 19,000 broke people attract wealth and live a life full of abundance. But this secret won't stay online long. Click the description and comments now to access it before it's permanently deleted. This isn't just about your life, it's about your legacy. The choices you make right now will shape your children's future, your family's restoration, your bloodline's destiny. You are the turning point. You are the interruption to every generational curse. But you can't do it alone. You need God's hand. You need His wisdom, His protection, His direction. Because what's coming will require strength you can't build by yourself. That strength comes from presence, from surrender, from staying in the secret place, even when it's quiet, even when you feel nothing. That's where faith is born. Do not let this moment pass you by. You're tired, yes, but don't stop here. You're overwhelmed, but don't give up now. There's glory on the other side of this silence. There's beauty after this storm. There's purpose in your pain. God is not wasting any of it. Every tear is counted, every cry is heard, every sacrifice remembered. He will restore, He will redeem, but He won't force His hand into a heart that stays closed. Open up. Let Him in again. Let Him rebuild what life tried to tear down. This is not a joke. Heaven doesn't send messages like this for entertainment. This is rescue. This is mercy. This is your lifeline. And if you're reading this right now, it means you're still in time. But don't assume there will always be more time. There comes a moment when the scroll closes, when the page turns and what was possible becomes what was missed. Don't let that be your story. Let this be your shift. Let this be the day everything changed. That thread never snapped because His hand never let go. But now, you're drifting dangerously close to breaking that connection. The enemy sees it. He's been working overtime to exhaust you, to distract you, to convince you that your prayers don't matter. But he's wrong, and heaven is reminding you before it's too late. There is still time, but not much. And that's why this moment is more than just another word, it's a divine interruption. If God didn't care, He would have stayed silent. But He cares so deeply, He's confronting you with truth. Because love doesn't always sound soft. Sometimes love shouts so loudly it shakes your soul awake. That's what this is. A shaking, a wake-up call, a rescue mission. You've been fading in your faith, but God is breathing new fire into you right now. You've been living numb, but your spirit is about to feel again. Comment 1515 if you're ready for God to restore what's been dying inside of you. Let's be honest. You've been tired. Not just physically, but soul deep. You've smiled on the outside while falling apart inside. You've kept it all together while quietly wondering if God forgot you. You've shown up for others while no one showed up for you. But God saw. He always saw. And he didn't just watch your pain, he collected every single tear. Not one drop was wasted. Now he's ready to return what the enemy stole. Not just in pieces, but in abundance, in overflow, in healing that touches every layer of your life. You're not meant to live a half-blessed life. You're not meant to barely survive. You're meant to walk in divine favor, to carry the light of God into dark places, to be the answer to someone else's prayer. But that starts when you reconnect to the one who wrote your purpose. You've looked for validation in all the wrong places. You've waited on people to affirm what only God can declare. You've tried to carry your calling on your own, but it's too heavy without Him. You weren't designed to walk this road without holding the Father's hand. The blessing of 9.21 billion is not about a number, it's about restoration, about breaking the grip of lack, fear, and delay that's tried to hold you down. It's about God proving again that He is your provider, your sustainer, your source. When He blesses, He does it in a way that silences every voice that said you wouldn't make it, every curse that was spoken over you, every lie you believed about yourself. When heaven opens up and deposits into your life, it won't just change your bank account, it'll change your future, your atmosphere, your entire bloodline. But here's the warning: you can't afford to go back. Back to the pain God pulled you out of. Back to the people who only celebrated your silence. Back to the places where your spirit was shrinking. Going back will cost you more than you realize. That's why God is drawing a line, not out of anger, but out of love. Because the next blessing can't survive in the old environment. The next season won't grow where your soul was dying. If you want the promise, you have to release the past. Don't ignore that pull you feel right now. That tug on your heart isn't guilt, it's grace. It's the Holy Spirit saying, "Come home." Not just to a better life, but to your true identity. You've forgotten who you are. You've let the world define you, shape you, label you. But God is wiping every false name off of you right now. You're not broken beyond repair. You're not too late. You are loved. You are seen. You are still called. Comment 1717 if you believe the next chapter of your life will be written by the hand of God. The enemy has been hoping you would miss this, that you would keep scrolling, that you would tune it out. But God broke through your feed, your routine, your weariness to speak life. You are not just surviving this season, you are being prepared to rise in it. Every storm you've walked through was preparing you to walk in authority. Every closed door was protecting your purpose. Every tear was watering the soil for your next harvest. And now, that harvest is near. But here's the truth many don't want to face. God's blessings come with responsibility. When He hands you favor, He expects faithfulness. When He gives you authority, He calls you to walk in obedience. That means cutting ties with what drains your spirit. That means choosing purity when compromise feels easier. That means speaking truth when silence is more comfortable. You've asked for more. Now it's time to live like someone who's ready to receive it. What do brain surgeons and billionaires know that you don't? This 9-word money code, once reserved for elites, is now being shared with everyday people, and the results are mind-boggling. Cash windfalls, cleared debt, and lifelong stress gone. But the government might pull this secret any minute. Click the link in the description and comments before it's deleted forever. This is not about religion, this is about relationship. God wants your heart, not your performance. He's not after perfect behavior, He's after real surrender. You've been trying to clean yourself up before running back to Him, but He's saying, "Come as you are. Come with the pain, come with the questions, come with the guilt and the doubts and the anger." God can handle it. He wants it. He wants all of you, not just the parts you show to others. He knows how lonely you felt. Even in a crowd, you felt unseen, but not anymore. Heaven is standing in front of you now, calling you out by name, not to shame you, but to save you, to restore you, to wrap his arms around you and remind you you still belong. This is not the time to let go of the only hand that's ever truly held you. You are closer than you realize to the shift you've been praying for. But if you stop now, if you disconnect now, you may walk away from the very promise that's already on its way. You've been asking for confirmation. You've been looking for a sign. You've been quietly saying, God, if you're still with me, just show me something. This is it, not by chance, not coincidence. This is your moment. And the fact that you're still reading proves your heart is open, even if your mind is tired. God doesn't need a perfect heart. He just needs a surrendered one. Yours is enough. Your faith, even if it's shaky, is still faith. He's not looking for flawless people. He's looking for faithful ones. The hand of God doesn't slip, it holds firm. But it won't force itself where it's not welcome. That's why you're being warned. The time is running low, not just in the natural, but spiritually. The clock is ticking, and heaven is watching your response. 5 minutes may feel symbolic, but in eternity, 1 second can change everything. Your entire destiny can turn around with one decision: to grab his hand again, to pray again, to believe again, to step out of fear and walk back into faith. Comment Amen if you receive this truth deep into your soul. God isn't trying to take from you. He's trying to give you something better. You've been clutching things that are dying: relationships, habits, thoughts, mindsets, because you're afraid that letting go will leave you empty. But letting go is what makes space. Space for miracles. Space for peace. Space for purpose. The longer you hold on to what God has asked you to release, the longer you delay what he's trying to place into your life. He wants you whole, not just healed on the surface. He wants you free, not just functioning. There's a difference between living and surviving. You've been in survival mode for too long, waking up, going through the motions, keeping it together for everyone else while silently falling apart. But God knows. He sees what no one else sees, and he loves you enough to stop everything and speak this directly to your spirit. You've been marked since the beginning, chosen before the chaos, appointed before the attack, and the trials didn't cancel the calling, they revealed it. You were never meant to live an average life. There's a reason you don't fit in. There's a reason things fall apart when you try to settle. You are not called to stay in shallow waters. The deep is calling. But the deep requires trust. It requires surrender. It requires letting go of the shore of comfort and stepping into the unknown with nothing but faith. This next season isn't about proving yourself. It's about walking in who God says you are. You've spent too much time trying to be enough for people who were never assigned to your life. That ends now. The next chapter has nothing to do with being accepted by them. It has everything to do with being aligned with Him. When you're in alignment with God, favor follows you. Doors open, chains break, healing flows. And what used to break you no longer has the power to stop you. Comment 222 if you believe your next season will be full of alignment and favor. You are not behind. You are not late. God doesn't operate on human clocks. He's the one who created time, and He holds it in His hand. He's not panicked about your delays. He's not frustrated with your detours. What He cares about is your heart, your willingness to say, "Here I am, God. I don't have it all together, but I'm yours." That's what moves heaven. That's what activates miracles, not perfection, humility. The blessing that's coming is big because the battle you endured was heavy. Don't forget that. The longer the fight, the greater the reward. You didn't walk through all of that for nothing. The enemy tried to take you out, but you're still here. You may be bruised, but you're not broken. You may be tired, but you're not done. And that alone is proof that God still has more for you. There's a door opening right now. You can't see it yet, but your obedience is unlocking it. Every time you choose faith over fear, you're turning the key. Every time you forgive, even when it hurts, you're turning the key. Every time you keep going when everything in you wants to quit, you're turning the key. Keep turning it. You're closer than you think. And when that door swings open, it won't be a small shift. It will be the kind of breakthrough that leaves you speechless. The kind of blessing that reminds you God was never late, He was just setting the stage for something you couldn't imagine. The kind of divine release that wipes away years of struggle in a moment of favor. That's what's coming, if you don't quit. Why is the government desperate to hide this 9-word prayer? A shocking FBI leak has just revealed a simple 9-word prayer, now letting everyday people erase debt and attract unstoppable wealth. Verified by leading scientists and supported by Harvard research, this at-home ritual is turning financial stress into a life of luxury. Dream homes, new cars, luxurious vacations, it's all within reach. But the government could take down this secret any moment. Click the link in the description and comments before it's deleted forever. And right now, heaven is sending this final reminder before something permanent shifts. You are standing in a sacred window of time. If you ignore this moment, you may miss what was meant for you all along. You didn't come this far to walk away now. You didn't cry all those tears just to end up empty. God is watching your next move. This is not about fear, it's about urgency. There are moments in the spiritual realm where everything hangs in the balance, where one decision can break chains or build them, where one moment of obedience can shift generations. That's where you are now. You don't see the full picture yet, but heaven does. The warfare, the silence, the delays, none of it has been random. The enemy sees what's coming. That's why the attacks intensified. That's why your mind has been under fire. Because if you hold on just a little longer, breakthrough is going to crash through everything that's been blocking you. Comment 333 to declare your faith in what's coming, not in what you see now. This isn't a season to coast. This is a season to lean in, to get serious about what you carry. You don't have time to stay distracted. You don't have time to entertain what drains you. You are too close to let comfort lead you. God is pruning you for something higher. You feel uncomfortable because growth never feels easy, but discomfort is a sign of movement. It means God is pulling you out of what's familiar so He can place you in what's eternal. You've gotten good at pretending to be fine, at keeping busy, at numbing the ache. But God didn't call you to pretend. He called you to heal. And healing doesn't come by hiding, it comes by surrendering. This is the part where you stop performing, where you stop carrying the weight alone, where you lay it down, not just your burdens, but your control. That's the hardest part. Giving up your plan, your expectations, your timeline. But trust me, God's plan is better. Even when it feels uncertain, especially when it feels uncertain. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just need to trust the one who already does. That's what this moment is about. Trust. Letting go of what you can't control and grabbing hold of what you can. God's hand, that hand that protected you, that lifted you, that still reaches for you, even when yours is too tired to move. He hasn't let go. Even if you've wandered, even if you've been silent, even if you've doubted, His hand has never once left you. You're in a fight right now. Not with flesh, not with people, but with forces you can't see. That's why your strength alone hasn't been enough. That's why you've been spiritually drained. Because this isn't a natural battle, it's a spiritual one. But here's the truth, the victory is already yours. Not because you earned it, but because Jesus already won it. When he died, he didn't just conquer sin, he conquered every curse, every stronghold, every chain that's tried to wrap around your life. You've been walking with wounds that haven't healed yet, and God is saying, I want to touch those places now. The places you've ignored, the places you've tried to forget, the places that still sting when you think about them. He's not afraid of your brokenness, he's drawn to it. Because he knows that when you bring your broken pieces to him, he can build something beautiful from them, something lasting, something holy. Comment 555 if you're giving your broken pieces back to the only one who can restore them. It's not too late. That lie that keeps whispering you've missed it is straight from hell. If you're still breathing, God's not done. If you're still here, it means he's still writing. Don't let the enemy convince you otherwise. He's afraid of what you're about to walk into. He's terrified of your surrender. Because your surrender is where God's power shows up. You may not feel strong, that's okay. God never asked you to be strong on your own. He just asked you to lean on him, to trust that his strength is enough. You don't need to have the answers. You don't need to know what's next. You just need to say, yes, God, I'm still here. I still believe. I still want you. That's where revival starts. Not in noise, but in quiet, surrendered hearts. There are blessings that have been waiting for your obedience, things that God stored up for the moment your heart said yes again. He hasn't been holding back to punish you. He's been waiting until the foundation was strong enough to hold what's coming, because what's coming is weighty, it's powerful, it's generational, and it's going to require faith, maturity, and consistency. So this is your choice. Keep drifting or return. Keep delaying or decide. God won't drag you, but he will draw you. And right now he's drawing you with every word. Every line is a reminder that heaven still has plans for you, that the story isn't over, that the scroll hasn't been sealed yet. But listen carefully now, because this is critical. You are dangerously close to a divine moment passing you by. If you walk away now, if you close your heart, you may not feel this level of clarity again for a long time. You've been living in between knowing what God called you to do and still clinging to what's familiar. In between trusting his plan and fearing what it will cost you. In between saying you believe and secretly wondering if he even hears you anymore. That tug of war in your soul is the signal that the time is now. Heaven isn't waiting for you to feel ready. Heaven is moving now. And your name is still on the list, but the list is being finalized. The door is swinging open, and it will soon close. Not out of punishment, out of timing, sacred timing. You've had people walk away, promises fall apart, and prayers go unanswered, but God has been watching the whole time. Not indifferent, not silent, strategic. He's been preparing you in the shadows for what he's about to reveal in the light. He's been building you where no one could see. Because what's coming will not be small. It will not be hidden. It will not be subtle. That's why the refining process hurt so much. It was deep because the calling is deep, and now it's close, so close you can feel it in your chest. Comment 1111 if your spirit knows breakthrough is near, even if nothing around you looks like it. Is it possible to attract money by simply speaking some miraculous words? This 9-word script, verified by Harvard and 6 neuroscience labs, proves you absolutely can. People are using it from their couch and reporting unexpected bank deposits, cleared debts, and upgraded lives. It takes less than 30 seconds. But this secret won't stay online long. Click the description and comments now to access it before it's permanently deleted. You've come to the edge of too many moments like this and pulled back out of fear, out of exhaustion, out of thinking you're not enough. But you need to know this: God does not call those who are ready. He calls those who are willing. He qualifies the surrendered. And you, right now, with everything you've walked through and everything you're carrying, are exactly who He wants. You're not too far behind. You're not too broken. You're not too late. You're just on time for what God is about to do next. He knows how much you've endured, the betrayal no one else saw, the thoughts you couldn't even say out loud, the way you've been functioning while silently falling apart. You've learned how to smile through the ache, but your spirit has been exhausted. And now God is offering you what no person ever could: real rest. Not just for your body, but for your soul. Rest from striving, rest from proving, rest from pretending. You don't need to perform for Him, you just need to be with Him. And when you step into that place, into the secret place, everything changes, because that's where clarity returns. That's where wounds begin to close. That's where strength is restored. God never meant for you to live distant. He created you to walk closely with Him, not in fear, in love, in security, in constant communion. That closeness is what the enemy has been trying to steal from you, not just your joy, but your connection, because a disconnected believer becomes a defeated one. But today, God is restoring that connection. You've been watching others walk in the blessings you've prayed for, wondering why it hasn't happened for you yet, comparing their highlight reel to your hidden pain. But you need to hear this: delay is not denial. What God is doing in your life takes time, because it's not surface level, it's legacy level. And sometimes what He's preparing requires you to be hidden long enough to be deeply rooted. Because anything not rooted will fall when the weight of blessing arrives. But you, child of God, are being rooted in something eternal. You're not just going to see breakthrough, you're going to live in it. It will walk with you, cover you, multiply through you, because it's not just about you, it's about everyone connected to you. Your obedience is going to unlock doors for people you haven't even met yet. Your surrender is going to heal parts of your bloodline that no one else had the courage to confront. And all of it hinges on this: will you reach for God's hand, or will you keep trying to do it all on your own? Comment 777 if you believe God is not just changing your season, He's changing your story. The world has trained you to hustle, to hide your weakness, to earn your worth. But heaven works differently. In God's kingdom, surrender is the highest power. Faith is the strongest force. Stillness is where battles are won. And when you rest in Him, you're not giving up, you're giving way for His power to move. Right now, God is calling you into that place, that quiet trust, that deep knowing, that unwavering peace that doesn't come from circumstances but from connection. The numbers, the timeline, the financial blessing, they are all signs of a bigger promise, a signal that what's coming is more than money. It's freedom, it's peace, it's access. It's the beginning of a shift that will touch every corner of your life. But hear this truth: abundance doesn't arrive until alignment is complete. You must be in alignment with God, or the blessing will never feel like a blessing. It will feel like pressure. That's why God is aligning your heart before He releases what's next. Don't look around for validation. Don't wait for the world to approve your next move. You already have heaven's approval. You already have God's favor. You just need to walk in it, not hesitating, not questioning, not second-guessing every step. Just move, just trust, just follow. God doesn't need you to know every detail. He just needs your next yes. And when you give it, when you truly say, "God, I want your will more than mine," you will feel it. the shift, the weight lifting, the fear breaking, the light returning. Because the moment you stop fighting God and start following Him fully, everything around you begins to realign. You may not see it yet, but the atmosphere around you is changing. The weight you've been carrying is starting to lift. Something is happening in the unseen. God is shifting what felt unmovable. The things that felt stuck for years are beginning to break open. It's not because you figured it all out. It's because you chose to keep going. You chose not to quit. And heaven is responding to that decision. You were never walking alone, but now you're about to see just how surrounded you've always been. Comment 1010 if you believe angels have been fighting for you in silence. The silence wasn't a sign that God left. It was a sign He was working. Sometimes the loudest miracles begin in the quietest places. While you waited, He was protecting. While you cried, He was preparing. While you were wondering if He forgot you, He was setting up the stage for a comeback so divine, even your enemies will have no choice but to say, "That had to be God." But don't get distracted now. The enemy always tries hardest when he knows something good is coming. That's why your mind has been under attack. That's why your confidence has been shaky. That's why you've been tempted to settle for things you've already grown out of. The enemy wants you to stop just short of the promise. He wants you to look at the mountain and give up climbing. But what he doesn't know is that your help comes from above. You're not climbing alone. You're being lifted. What if everything you've been taught about money is a lie? A hidden 9-word prayer, buried in a classified FBI report, is now helping thousands attract wealth without lifting a finger. Scientists say it activates a 150-million-year-old part of your brain that controls abundance. Harvard-backed, lab-tested, life-changing. But the government might pull this secret any minute. Click the link in the description and comments before it's deleted forever. God isn't just giving you a new chapter, He's writing a whole new story. The kind where what once wounded you becomes your weapon, where what was meant to destroy you becomes your testimony, where the same ground where you wept becomes the ground where you worship. But you must keep walking. You must keep believing, even when nothing makes sense, even when it feels like too much, even when everyone else walks away, because the breakthrough is coming. It's not far. It's near, closer than it's ever been. You've heard the warnings. You've felt the urgency. This is not the time to delay obedience. God's hand is extended, but your response activates the miracle. The blessing isn't just floating in the air waiting to fall, it's attached to your yes. The longer you delay, the longer you stay outside the door. And heaven doesn't keep doors open forever. Grace is always there, but the timing of blessings is sacred. Miss the moment, and you may still be loved, still saved, but what was meant for now will pass to someone else. Comment Amen if you refuse to let your promise fall into someone else's hands. There is a weight to this message because there's a weight to your calling. You're not like everyone else. That's why the pressure has been heavier. That's why you can't get away with things others do. That's why your spirit gets unsettled in places that don't match your destiny. You've been marked by heaven, and that mark isn't for decoration. It's for war. It's for purpose. It's for impact. You were never called to blend in. You were called to break cycles, carry light, and disrupt darkness. But you can't do that if you're running on empty. You can't fight giants if you're still feeding doubt. You can't receive the next level if your hands are still full of what should have been laid down long ago. Let it go. Let go of the anger. Let go of the bitterness. Let go of the comfort of small thinking. There's no room for it where God is taking you. This next season will require a clearer mind, a healed heart, and a bolder faith. You've been trained in pain, but now you will walk in power. That's the shift. The tears were part of the process, but they are not your identity. You are not your trauma. You are not your failure. You are not the worst thing you ever did. You are redeemed. You are restored. You are chosen. And it's time you start living like it. Not in pride, but in confidence. Not in fear, but in faith. God is not asking you to be perfect. He's asking you to be present, to show up, to open your heart again, to believe that maybe, just maybe, He's still going to do everything He promised, and more, exceedingly more. You've only seen a glimpse of what He's capable of. What's coming will make sense of everything you lost. Every closed door, every broken piece, every silent night.